This morning for the Refuah Shlomo of Yonatan Avram ben Yehudit Miriam. The Refuah Shlomo, the dear Rabbi. Okay, we have something fascinating this morning, something very special. In our parsha Nasso, as you know, is the longest parsha of the Torah. It usually doesn't work out like this, that Nasso comes before Shavuos. It's usually that Bamidbar is the one that comes right before Shavuos. Maybe on Shabbos we're going to be talking about what's the significance when Nasso comes before Shavuos, because half the Torahs we have on Bamidbar have to do with why Bamidbar comes before Shavuos. So it works for America this year, but not for us so much. What did you lay in Monday morning in America?
I was on the plane.
Oh, it's okay. You would have gone to
No,
you would have heard Bamidbar.
They're in Bamidbar.
Right, Bamidbar. Anyway, so this parsha Nasso, the longest parsha in the Torah, and although certain chunks of it are very repetitive regarding Bashevet, there's some very, very important pieces over here. And one of the main Torahs, one of the main inyanim is a Nazir. And how do you say a Nazir in English? Nazir. Oh yeah, Nazir? Okay. A Nazir. And the way we look at Nazirus, if you look at Hilchos Nazirus, the halachas of Nazirus, it's as if when you take on becoming a Nazir, you get punished for taking it on. It's a very peculiar concept. I have a friend. We grew up together in Ranana. At a certain point, he took on Nazirus Shimshon. The only time, by the way, when have you ever heard of the concept called Nazirus Shimshon? In Hataras Nadarim. I don't know if it's in your Nusach, but over there in Hataras, we say we nullify, right? We nullify also if any of us took on Nazirus Shimshon. And he had to go to Rav Elyashiv. It was crazy. I had one other friend, maybe you've seen him, and he was actually from Montreal. His name was Zev Macklin. He was a drummer. He was very close to Shalom Brat. He was a Nazir for many years. But any of you ever have any Nazirite friends? Not Nazirite. That's from Nazarite. Any friends that were Nazirin? Come on.
Dreadlocks.
Yeah, but I think they drink wine. Rumor has it they still partake in that. But other than that, yeah, the hair thing goes. But other than that, no. So I just want to say like this before we see this beautiful piece inside. If you're told in halacha, if you see in the pshat in the Torah that you have to pay the price for becoming a Nazir. So is becoming a Nazir something that is considered gewalt or no? What do you think? If the Torah says you have to pay a price for it, and what do you think?
But
it would seem no, right?
But it's still gewalt because it's still something that you're looking for a bigger connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So there's a cost to it, possibly because you feel that the only way that you can get that. Connection
level, right?
You need to become Nazir. Maybe that's why there's the cost. But there's still this isn't just a it's not just I woke up one morning I decided I want to do it. Now I'm going to pay the price for it. There's still you still feel a certain level to
take it on. Mm-hmm. Okay, Beseder Gamor. So Now, and halachically, just it's very good what you're saying. There was two ways to approach this shir. One, we could have gone deep into the halacha. Look in the Rambam, Sefer HaMitzvahs. There's 10 mitzvahs that are guarding Nazirus. I think it's 2 asays and 8 mitzvahs lota asays. Actually, it's a very complicated inyan. Now, whenever we look at the parsha of Nazir, we always look in the smichas parshios. What comes right before the parsha of Nazir? All the Torahs are talking about this. What comes right before in the Torah, in Parshas Nasso? What story happens right before in the Nazir? Sota. Haroeh sota bekilkula yazir atzmo min hayayin, Chazal tell us. The reason why the Parsha of Nazir comes right after the Parsha of Sota, Isha Sota, because the Chazal tell us, whoever saw a Sota bekilkula, that means an Isha Sota chas v'sholom, that bekilkula, I don't know how to say that exactly, when she goes through what she goes through, when she pays her price. So Chazal, it's like a Baal Shem Tov Torah. If you are exposed to that, you better realize that something has to do with you. If you see that, you make sure that you refrain. You need Shmira Yesera. Now I want to say like this. Even though it's not our birthday, it's a wedding. Shavuos is a wedding. Our birthday could either be, you could say maybe it's Rosh Chodesh Nisan or Rosh Hashanah, but it's a time for resolutions. It's a time for resolutions. It's a time for taking things on. And the gates are very much open on Shavuos to take things on. But you got to be really smart when you decide this, because you could take something on and it can machriv your house. And this, it's something that would mashpia on the whole house in a bad way, unless everyone else is with you. Like if you came home and you decided, I'm going to become a Nazir, because I really feel, or whatever it is, something like that, but your family is not with you on it, because they have no idea what you're talking about, then the price you're going to have to pay is much higher than you could imagine. But nonetheless, it's a time for resolutions. It's a time for taking upon ourselves certain things, specifically regarding how we relate to Talmud Torah. How much of a role Torah plays in our life. For real. For mamish, for real. And the gates are open for it. And I wanted to connect ourselves to give us, bless you, I want to go into Shavuos with such chizuk. Such chizuk. Going into the kedusha of this day, not just like, oh, this is what happened back then, it's standing on Har Sinai again and saying, this is what's happening right now, and I want to say Nasso v'nishma. And I want to believe in my Nasso v'nishma. So we're going to see a piece today that we're going to learn from the Parsha of Nazir, how to make resolutions for Shavuos. Alright? Now no one ran out, so that means you're all, so far, you're okay with Torah like Talmud Torah resolutions, okay? So let's go inside. Now this piece is a gorgeous piece from the Lev Simcha. The Lev Simcha, you've seen the Sefer, we brought it here. I bring it sometimes, Yehuda Cohen brings it sometimes. It's the Ger Rebbe, the previous Ger Rebbe, the Lev Simcha. He was one of the sons of the Imre Emes, Rav Simcha Bunim of Ger. Okay. So Lev Simcha, so first the pasuk we're talking about, Isha, Ki Yafli Linder Neder Nazir Lehazir LaHashem. We're talking about the Parsha of Nazir. So he says like this, Limud Amok Mizah Parsha, such a deep learning from this Parsha. Vu Pile Plaim. If any of you went to YU and went to Rav Goldvich's shir, you heard that phrase many times. Obviously the only one nodding his head. Pile Plaim doesn't mean elephants of elephants, it means wonders of wonders, a pele, Pile Plaim. There's a wondrous thing we're going to learn right now. She'adam rak mekabel al atzmo shelo lishtot yain shehu dvar heter. We see in a crazy thing. A person receives upon himself to not drink wine, which is something that's mutter. We're not talking about resolutions right now that's like, we're saying, okay, I'm going to stop downloading those things I shouldn't be downloading. That's for sure us. We're speaking about a heter. Right? You're saying,
not only a heter, you make kiddush.
Right? Something that you can make, it's called kiddush, right? And you're saying no. So look what he's saying. What a peddler. A person accepts upon himself. I waited for the... It's usually 1, 2, 3, 4. I waited, didn't I?
I'm trying working.
Wow. Rak mekabel al here it is. Rak mekabel al atzmo shelo lishtot yain shehu davar heter. You mekabel on yourself a heter. Like Avi says, you make kiddush on it. Va'afilu lizman mu'at shel 30 yom. And even you're saying, for 30 days, I'm taking upon myself to not to refrain from drinking wine. Look what he says. And you really reach such a gewalt, exalted level. What kind of level are we talking about? What does the Torah say about a person like this that takes upon himself such a refraining? Nezer elokav al rosho kodosh hu la'Hashem. A nazir, the nezer of is on his head. He's kodosh to God. What did he do? What did he do? Tell me he did some tshuva. What did he do, sechako? He refrained from something that's not even usher, but for him it's usher. And the Torah relates to him in such a high way. So we need to understand what's going on over here. You hear the question. How could this be? Why should it be such a gewaldige madrega? It doesn't make sense. And now he continues the Ger Rebbe, umagia l'kedusha yisera she'afilu la'aviv u'le'imo lo yitama. He's so holy, that such a high extent of holiness, that he can't even impurify himself to his mother or his father. Shelo matziu chen rak bekohen gadol. Only by a kohen gadol we see such stringency when it comes to tumah. A regular kohen can metame to his shiva krovim, to the 7 people that are closest to him. I can't become tameh to other people, but to my 7 people, wife, mother, father, sister, brother, whatever it is. Here he's saying, but we know that only a kohen gadol is on the level that he can't metame even to his shiva krovim. Who else is in that category? A guy that says, I'm not going to drink wine for 30 days. Why does the Torah give him such chashivut? Leshonot kol kach charifim shel his'alus l'kedusha. The languages are such charif, they're so chazak when it comes to describing what a nazir takes upon himself. Okay, so before we move on, is the question he's bringing up clear? Yes. Does anyone want to throw out an answer? At the risk of sounding interested?
Is the wine the ikar or the action of control, of actually doing something?
Very, very good question. That's a great question. What do you guys think? That's a great question what you just said.
Well, if we connect it to Sot, that is the wine.
But that's a smichas parshiyas. That's al derech hadrash. It's not al derech hapshat. What do you think?
It's about commitment. It seems like it.
So it wouldn't be the wine.
That's what I think.
Well, it's also because he's also not cutting his hair. He's not shaving, which is also a little bit odd because it's a sign of avelut. It's a lot of scripture.
So is it more the what he took upon himself, or the fact that he became mamash, a warrior of commitment?
I think the Rebbe in here is he's specifically talking about the wine, because he doesn't say anything about hair. He doesn't say anything about anything else. He specifically says it. The Rebbe here is specifically saying about wine.
Okay.
Well, he says Kinezer Elokav al Rosho, which may be alluding to the hair.
And did anyone ever take upon themselves to not drink wine for 30 days because it was an Indian?
Yeah.
What does it feel like?
30 days will be over soon.
It depends if you were drinking a lot of wine before. Could be no.
Right, but, so that's interesting. I don't think the Nazir becomes a Nazir because he went to the 12-step.
Right. No, I'm saying.
It's not coming. It's not. This is not what we're speaking
He
about.
didn't drink wine for a month. He didn't take a haircut for a month. That could be a regular month.
Right. Let's see how he builds this up. This is beautiful. Lemedim anu mikan kocha gadol shel kabbalah she'adam mekabel al atzmo. Itamar, answer your exact question. David, Jerry, be with us, please. We learn from here the great koyach of taking upon yourself something. Kabbalah. I'm a Kabbal. I'm taking upon myself something. He says this is the focus of the Parsha of Nazirus. It's the Kabbalah. When you do tshuva, according to the Rambam, you need charata, you need regret for what was, but you also need Kabbalah al haba. You also have to say, I'm taking upon myself mikan lahaba. I'm done with that. With whatever I had to work through. Receiving upon yourself, taking upon yourself. He says, this is what the gewaldige koach we learn from the Parsha of Nazir. שבכוח הקבלה שקיבל על עצמו דבר מה, נוסדים לו מן השמיים עוד יוסף. you took upon yourself something, then from Shemayim they give you even more kochos than what you thought you were going to equip yourself with. Umekabel kochos elyonim nezer elokav al rosho. You came and you said, I need to do this for whatever the inyan is. Now, we can't really get into the mindset of the typical Nazir because I don't think there's such a concept called a typical Nazir. Just like we can't get into the mindset of each person that refrains from a certain something. All we know is if I'm a kabel on myself something, it's because I believe I need to refrain from this or do this. So the Lev Simcha is saying, when you do that, in Shemayim they say, you thought that you were going to be strong by refraining from this? You don't even know how strong we're going to make you. But you have to be makabel something. You got to take on something. We learn from this. If you have something that you cannot overcome, you've tried it for 30 years. It's an inyan you cannot get over. You take upon yourself to refrain from it. And in the strength that you've attached yourself to by taking upon yourself to refrain from what you're doing, you receive higher powers from above. And then you'll really be able to overcome. Kamo ben Nazir. The foundation of real growth, or of really being able to move on from something you're struggling with, is one word. Two words. I'm a kabel. Now, what is he saying over here? He's saying a person's been struggling with something for so long. Did you ever say the words, I take upon myself to not do this anymore? In our minds, we think we've said it many times. But until you verbalize it, it's not really there. Kabbalah means I mamish mekabel on myself to refrain from something. Oh, you're showing mamish, you're fully committed. So in Shemayim they say, this person is going to deserve, we're going to give him all the kochos in the world to actually refrain from what he really, really wants to refrain from.
Is that considered taking it in?
So interesting. The way that the pasuk writes it out is that yes, look at the pasuk on the top. Isha, ki yafli lindor neder, nazir laHashem. Very interesting. That is considered a neder. Yeah. Meaning, again, many times we think that. I would say we think we've taken things upon ourselves and it's just not working. But you never really sat down and said, I am refraining from doing this because I need to make sure that I don't fall anymore into something.
It's like your emunah share. You have to verbalize it.
You have to verbalize it. You have to verbalize
Most
it.
resolutions that people make in terms of, not in the Jewish sense, I'm talking about the Western idea. It's like, I'm going to try to do X, Y, Z. They're not saying I'm going to do it, I'm in 100%. It's
Right.
like, I have the ratzon to want to make this change.
Well, what's the lashon in the program? What's what you have to? You can't say I'm going to try, right? In the 12 steps, what's the lashon there? What's the language? It doesn't work if you get up and say you get to a certain stage and say, and now I'm going to try to stop. It's got to be more, right? It's got to be more full on, like I'm taking this on. No? You don't know? Okay.
So it's very interesting that, if you think about the juxtaposition.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Juxtaposition to, like a New Year's resolution or like a change in life, which are usually goal oriented, which is like I will lose 20 pounds by next Christmas or whatever, whatever things that people focus in on. And when this has nothing to do with goals, it's a sulmeva. It's a abstaining from something. So it's interesting to say that it's a small thing, it's a small kabbalah.
But it's very different, you're right, than the way that the world looks at it, right? It's a refraining from something. It's not, I'm going to now reach that goal. It's that I'm stopping to do this.
Right, which connects to what Stephen was saying. Because there's a shua here, and we're like really warned against making a shua. And I'm thinking that maybe it's because it is such a small thing. Just don't cut your hair, don't drink wine, stay away from that stuff. And then it's something where like you're not supposed to do it, but it's got a lot of power in it at the same time.
And it not just that it has a lot of power. This is probably what'll make you overcome what you really want to overcome. Because in Shemaim they see, oh, your mamish saying, I am moving away from this bad thing. I'm saying it. I'm proclaiming it. I'm putting it out there, and then they say, oh, so when you say that, then in Shemaim they're like, you don't even realize what we're going to give you.
Is that what he's saying? Because here we're talking about something that is mutter to you. We're not talking about like if you say, okay, I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is not mutter. Like it's forbidden anyway. So you're not dealing with an area here that you're saying, okay, I know I shouldn't be doing this anyway, but now I'm going to stop and heaven's going to pour all this stuff
very
into
good what you're bringing up.
He's saying here something that's mutter to you, something that your goal is to become closer to Hashem by abstaining from something that's mutter, not by something that's like you shouldn't be doing anyway.
No, he's
But
basically,
then again, is it on the action of refraining? Meaning, is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Regardless.
yes,
But-
that's the point.
But is it regardless whether it's mutter or not? Because there's a difference between
He's saying it's a kal v'chomer. That's the whole point of this teaching. If by something that's mutter, you refrain from it, and they add you all these kochos, calling you kodesh l'Hashem, can you imagine how they view you when you actually refrain from something that's usher from you? You learn from it. It's a kal v'chomer. That's what he's saying. It's very good what you're bringing up. It's a very obvious question everyone should have. What are you talking about? He's talking about something that's mutter. How could we say that this is what we're talking about? No, it's if by something that's mutter I refrain because it's my Indian that by refraining from this mutter thing, I get close to. By the way, do you know how many mutter things are in our lives that are mamish so bad for us?
probably more things than are usher.
Could be. There are so many things that are mutter. That's why Chazal say, Kadesh atzmacha b'mutter lach. You should sanctify yourself amongst those things that are mutter for you. Then you'll realize, oh, those things that are mutter for me, but I can't sanctify them, they're the real demons. They're the real demons. You see, something that's usher is not a demon. It's bad. I label it. Something that's mutter, but I can't sanctify it, that's the real demon. That's the real evil. Because it's disguised in the form of something that's good for you. Alcohol is 1,000,000% much easier found in the mutter demon than a mutter elevation. 1,000,000%. You understand what I'm saying? To sanctify alcohol is 5,000,000 times harder than what it really does to us. 1,000,000,000%. So, the whole point here is that it's a kal v'chomer.
What does that mean to sanctify it?
I do kiddush.
No, on alcohol.
Like, if I use the alcohol for kiddush, meaning if I'm using it for, even at a farbrengen, right? The Rebbe would give out l'chaims. You don't think that was the highest sanctification some people ever had in their lives?
How would you apply that to like sugar? Sugar's mutter.
Very good. Again, I just said mutter, absolutely.
Right.
Exactly.
Public enemy number one these days.
Is it mutter? Does the Torah say anywhere that it's usher? Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying. There's a lot of things that are mutter for us.
Say, how would you sanctify sugar?
No idea.
You take a breath on it.
No, you eat a little bit like Kvod Shabbat. You don't eat it during the week. You make it something that's special a little.
Eating in general.
Eating in general. Eating in general.
To be involved.
And it's mutter.
Food is mutter.
Food is mutter. Like,
If I'm eating because I need energy, so I can function to serve Hashem.
cigarettes is not the same. Cigarettes, even though it's mutter legally, well, actually in Beverly Hills they just outlawed it yesterday. You know this?
Really?
Yesterday in Beverly Hills, they outlawed the selling and smoking of cigarettes or smoking in.
But they legalize pot.
Huh?
They legalize pot.
But they legalized marijuana. But they're doing
It's okay.
I'm still
They're just making sure it's all. You see, no, that's great. That's a great example. Pot, according now in many areas in America, on the level of dina de malchusa dina, which means I say that like the rules of the land, right? You can walk around smoking joints morning to night in Colorado, many other places, and you could say, I am a law-abiding citizen, and I know that there's a kedusha to that as a yid, that to abide the law of where I live. But can you really say that you're mekadesh atzmecha b'mutar lach? I'm talking about like to take things to the next level in life. So those are extreme examples, but it's really like, I'm glad you brought it up, like sugar or like other things. Some would say white flour falls into the same category. It doesn't matter. Today, everyone has inyanim. Everyone says things are bad, things are whatever it is. The point over here, what he's saying, and I'm glad you brought it up, Shem, is that he's saying, if they look at you in Shamayim as the warrior of all warriors and give you gifts of all gifts of overcoming whatever you need to overcome that you took upon yourself to get closer to Hashem, that's over something that's mutter. Can you imagine what it looks like when you look at the world and you refrain for saying that's asur? Because the power of refraining is the yesod of everything. Now look how he ends it off over here. We're in the third paragraph. Ki ha-yesod hu etzem ha-kabbalah shemekabel ha'atzma. It's the receiving upon yourself is the foundation. V'haremez sur mera. Yeshua, you brought it up. Bless you. Sur mera. Sur begimatria nazir. Givat. Sur means refrain. Move away. Sur mera. Sur, the word sur is nazir. This is what the nazir is all about. He's mekabel on himself. Now sur, it doesn't say sur mera is gematria nazir. It says sur is gematria nazir. That helps us. Because the nazir is not necessarily sur mera, it's sur from whatever he thinks is ra for him. Nachon? But honestly, Chavra, you and I are like, that's what we're holding. Meaning that's where we need to be holding. Like, only we really know what's bad for us in the world of mutter. In the world of asur, it's not such a chokhmah to come to conclusions of I should refrain from this. It's a chokhmah to take upon yourself. But only you and I know what's really, really bad for us. So the Nazir gives us koyach. When we learn Nazirus, Erev Shavuos, and we're about to receive the Torah again, it's basically saying we're receiving the koyach. Hashem Yisborach, your Torah should inject into us the wisdom how to know what to refrain from, even if something is absolutely mutter. I'll go really extreme right now, okay? Learning during davening, to me, drives me insane. It drives me crazy. It can't be. There's davening and there's learning. So you say, learning? Learning's the holiest thing in the world. For some people, they have to do a Kabbalah. They say, I am taking upon myself to remove myself from learning while I'm supposed to be talking to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
But if the alternative is talking to your friend, then learning is good.
That's not
It's not the way we work.
I'm just saying, if that's what a person is battling with internally, and they know the only way they can't talk to a friend is by...
They have other issues. No, they have other issues. If
that's...
We're talking about a little bit of a higher, not even meaning even before optimal. Optimal is that wouldn't even be a conversation. I mean, we're saying over here, I need to refrain from something in order for what? To have an experience with you, Hashem. Literally. I need to refrain from it. So we could even go so far to saying, we're not even saying I'm taking upon myself to not talk. I'm taking upon myself to not be distracted from what the point of davening really is. Torah, learning Torah, look how crazy this is. Learning Torah can be a distraction from what you're supposed to get to during davening. You hear that? So you see how crazy how much this Torah can be stretched? Do you understand this? This is crazy. It's scary, right?
Kluger said.
Huh?
Kluger said.
He did.
He said that when he went to the States with Rabbi Yehuda, and his Wi-Fi disappeared, and he couldn't keep on writing his Sfarim. It was all maybe saved to the cloud, whatever it is. He realized that writing Divrei Kodesh was...
Oh, right. I saw that.
for him in that moment.
That's right. You know, there's one thing two things I ever heard Reb Shlomo freak out about. One was when a Jew for Jay started giving him trouble in the middle of Shir, Erev Yom Kippur. I have the recording. He freaks out on him. That's the one. There's two recordings. He loses it on this person. Screams. It's like him, the peace hippie. He screams at him. He says, at a certain point in the middle of it, he says, brother, don't put your flashlight on my torch. That's what he said. And he said, whatever you think you know, I know in my toenail, even after I cut off my toenail. Like he was so charid. That was one time. I'll send it to you. It's frightening. Erev Yom Kippur, early 80s, frightening. The other was when people were talking during Zmiros at the table. Weirdest thing, right? Why? You have to know where you are. You have to simply know where you are. So it's true, it's like we could go through all these levels, whatever it is, but at a certain point, I have to refrain, I have to separate myself from that which usually does not allow me to be present. That's a real big one. Sur, remove, refrain from. Okay, bottom over here. And this is why Nazir is right after the Parsha of Sota. Like the Gemara in Bracha says that one who sees a Sota in her, I don't know what the right word is over here. Kilkula, in her downfall, shall make himself a Nazir from wine. Ha'inyan. What do you think that means? When you see a Sota going through what she's going through, something from what you're seeing sticks to you. What does that mean? What do you think that means?
It makes an impression.
It does something. It's sending you a message. Don't ignore it. So you take upon yourself to refrain from that which got stuck to you. And then when you do that, then from Shamayim they pour down on you such holiness to elevate. And then this Gevalt thing, he says, and then what happens to you is that when you take upon yourself, Ribono Shel Olam, I am now refraining from what I'm feeling right now inside, whatever that is, from Shamayim, they pour down upon you something that you could have never imagined. But what does he say over here? What's it called? What do they pour down onto you? Look at these next two words. Beautiful two words. I bless us all with these two words. You see it? Ra'ayonot nekiim. What does that mean?
Clean ideas.
I know, but what does that mean? What does that mean? What's a clean idea?
Like a
It
good
means
solution.
like
What is
Yeah.
it?
Like good solution.
Good solutions. Good ideas, not just good thoughts, but the asay tov. Not just the sunnah, but the asay tov now. For good, nachon. So
give us bracha for good.
for good, meaning we did a little bit of something to do sur mira. So, but now Hashem, it's like so you know what? You had the koyach to refrain from bad. You know what I'm going to plant into you now? All the ways and all the ideas how to now do good. So now you could be busy with how to do more good, as opposed to how to keep on refraining from doing bad. You know, a person can lose their mind if they realize that most of their time is spent on how to refrain from doing bad things, even if he overcomes it. It's not a simchadik person. Are you kidding me? A person that spends 90% of his time celebrating the fact that he refrained from things, a person like that is not going to make it. He needs simcha. He needs to feel like he's involved not just in refraining from bad, but rayonot nekiim, doing good, moving forward. Where do you get that? That comes after you're makabel on yourself, lasur mira. That's the system here. That's the recipe. That's what he's saying. That's the order of things, right? This is what Chazal tells us in Yoma. Ba'al taher someone that comes to be purified, Messiah also, they help him. I always use the imagery when you really want to do good and you want to refrain from bad, you need to go like this, right? So you know what you feel like when you put your arm up? You feel like someone's taking you and pulling you from above. But you're not going to feel that anyone is pulling you up from above if you don't go like this. If you're like this, I want to feel that someone's helping me from above, you won't feel it. The Kabbalah that you take upon yourself, I'm putting my arm out to you here, because without you, I can't refrain from this thing that's driving me crazy, but I'm going to ask for help, because this is what I want to get rid of. Sur Mirat, wow. Thank you. And what's the higher level is, you're filling me now with all the Gevaldic ideas I can do to fill my life with Tov, not just to refrain from bad. Spend my time in the Aseh Tov. Now listen, this is a Gevald thing. He ends with this. This is what I felt, as opposed to the Western concept of resolutions, that if you don't reach the goal, you didn't live up to your resolution. A Nazir, when he stops being a Nazir, what's he called? When a Nazir stops being a Nazir,
A normal person.
you'd think, right? Meaning, Chaim, whatever his name is, Shmerel. Look what he says over here. Uchsiv ve'achar yishtei hanazir yain. And afterwards, when he stops his Nazirus, he'll drink wine. Who should drink wine? What does the Torah call this person?
Nazir.
Calls him. Wait a second. He's drinking wine now. He's a Nazir.
How do you know that means that after he's done being a Nazir, and not that
Because he's
when
drinking
in-
wine.
Because he's
Right, but
no, because the Torah is talking about the time when his
when he's
Nazirus is done.
It's
Yes.
not that he failed.
No. Ve'achar yishtei hanazir yain. V'ita b'sfarnim she'af shekvar nigmara nazirusa. Even though his period of Nazirus is over, adayin nikra Nazir. Shemamshich hakoach gam le'achar kach. Let's say you took upon yourself something for a certain amount of time to get through it, right? Something mutter, like sugar for a certain extent, or flour, whatever it is, right? And you needed to do it for health reasons for 2 months. It was a sur me. What for you is ra. It's mutter, but you took it. You went away from it. You're still you're still attributed to that accomplishment, even once you're allowed to go back to it. You're still considered a guy that conquered that taiva. That's what's so beautiful. That's what stuff that's asay tov.
And not only externally considered that, but you know yourself. I mean, that accomplishment stays with you forever.
Yeah, forever.
It means I have it in me to do it.
Mamash.
And it
That's why it's with you.
helps you go on
Because
other
you
things,
know
helps
what
you
you're
on other
capable of,
things.
yes. You know, and now you're filled with rayonot nekiim, meaning you know what you're capable of now. You've proved it to yourself, and now you're filled with all this craft from Shemayim. Yeah, Eli?
Yeah, it's not just an assumption of halachic status, it's a transformation of character.
Right, that's what Kenny's saying, yeah.
It's in your guts.
Can you say that again? What was that last point you said? What's the...
The truth is, he really said it amazingly. They both said it right now. It's not just that I have overcome something, I've become someone else. I'm aware of what my kochos are. Transformation of character is what he said. V'zeh halimud lechol davar. Now the Rebbe is saying over here, to the Ger Rebbe is saying to all of us, this is the learning for anything. Shemekabel al atzmo. When you just have a resolution, you take upon yourself something. Hain, whether it's something that's mutter, kal vachomer, if it's something that's asur, but you take upon, like when was the last time anyone actually took upon themselves something? Like literally stuck with it, took upon them, said it. They said it, really, the Chabura, the Bnei Machshava Tova, that Sefer was set up so that people would take upon themselves things and have the what would you call it, the accountability, being around the Chevra that would help people stick through to what they took upon them, follow through. We'll get back there, you'll see. Be'ezrat Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. That you receive higher kochot. The koach HaKabbalah nimshach gam la'achar kach. Meaning, exactly, even afterwards, my koach to mekabala myself more things is now in my domain. I said, wow, I did that. I was able to refrain from that inyan. I could do that. I could do it with anything I need to do. So I feel like Now we have, one really strong avenue towards understanding why Nasso comes this year for us, Erev Shavuos, because what do we want more than just having more limud Torah, more learning? So everyone, I think, an amazing thing, mekabel on yourself. When we come to shul Friday, Shabbos, whenever it is, wherever you are, you turn to someone, turn to your wife, turn to your friend, and say, I'm taking upon myself to spend much more time this year listening to what Hashem is telling me through the words of Torah. I'm mekabel, and then think a little bit deeper. What prevents me from actually following through? Okay, I'm refraining from that. You hear? Think about it. What prevents me from following through with taking upon myself more learning? Think about what that is. Say it. Refrain. Seems impossible, right? Seems impossible until you actually refrain.
Two-step process. First,
yeah.
take it out, and then what's gonna.
You have to understand what you're taking on.
I think it's the fact that it's by the sota. I think that what the Rebbe is trying to tell us is that you have to observe your life. You have to observe your life situation. You have to observe the details of your life and what you're going through, and from that, observe what you need to take on. Because that's what he said about it. He said that you saw what happened with the sota, because that kind of left a stain on you. You have to refrain from wine. So he's saying that what you're refraining from is directly associated to what you're experiencing in your own life. And so we have to look at our own lives in a truthful way and say, what am I experiencing in my life? What are the things in my life right now? And how can I associate my refraining to what I've experienced in my life?
That's what I meant when I said, to just say I'm going to learn more this year won't really help you unless you observe what stands in the way to be able of taking on something. That's the inyan. I have to have a clear view to the extent that it's developing of what stands in my way of my life. And then it could be that it's the whole. Listen, this is why Dafka from a Nazir we learned this, because it could be it's something that's absolutely mutar that is preventing you from learning more Torah. It's not. Listen, if it's something that's asur, it's not such a chokhmah to say I'm going to refrain. That's not such a big. I mean, yisher koyach. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. We're talking about dafka things that are mutar. Reb Chaim Kramer was once a friend of mine. Once asked him, he was getting really strong in yeshiva, and he didn't know. He grew up kind of Breslov, but that's not what brought him back to Yiddishkeit. And he was learning in yeshiva, and then his father goes to Uman every year, and he didn't know what to do. He wasn't sure, should he go, should he not go? He went to Chaim Kramer, who to me is just the way he hears you and the way he answers you is such a healthy, beautiful approach. He told me once, whenever we were together once, Jerry, when he told us, he said, whenever anyone comes and asks me any question, the whole as they're talking, I'm saying, Hashem, this is yours. Please tell me what to say. And then he starts talking. He doesn't think for a second that, I know what to tell him. Nothing. So this person that came to him and said, should I go to Uman or not? Great question, no? So, and it was a serious question. He says, it's very simple. Really what he thought that he would get pulled in from like a Breslover answer and saying, the Rebbe said you have to come be with the Rosh Hashanah. He could have said that, and that would have been very legitimate for 99% of Breslov approach. He said a gewaldige thing. And this is why I feel like it's such a privilege that we have a kesher to him and to take more of an advantage of it. He said to him, my friend's name is Psachia. He says, Psachia, if it brings you closer to Hashem, you should go. If it doesn't bring you closer to Hashem, don't go. Sometimes the holiest things and the things that are most kosher are dafka the things that prevent us from taking care of business. That's the trick. It's a tricky thing. But you know how you get more and more of an awareness of it is the Talmud Torah keneged kulam. When you learn more, when you're more familiar with the way Hashem designed this world, the blueprint is the Torah. The more that your mind is aligned with the way that Chazal thought and are still thinking, the more that plugs into all areas, the more that you can't hide anymore. And you have enough koyach to make these very interesting decisions in life. So, Baruch Hashem, we should do all this besimcha, get a clear view of our lives, and go with it really, really strong.